This meeting is being recorded. Good afternoon, Veena here. I would like to welcome everyone to the iBUG Apple Workshop for Saturday, August 28, 2021. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. More and more of the blind and visually impaired community are finding the Apple devices to be useful assistive technology tools in their daily lives. Whether at home, at work or school, or on the go, the accessibility features of the Apple devices have cleared new pathways for the visually impaired to be more productive, consume online content, stay connected through social media and have fun. This meeting is being recorded. To enhance the quality of the recording, please minimize side conversations. Also, please set your devices to mute and use your headphones to not disturb others. If we hear any phone ringtones or voiceovers speaking aloud, we may unfortunately have to remove you from the meeting. We ask that everyone stay on mute, unless, of course, you have a question or comment. We have an exciting meeting planned for today. We will first review some iBUG announcements and some recent Apple news and rumors. Then, Sree, Michael and Sandhya will demo some native and third-party apps. Finally, we will spend any remaining time to answer questions you may have. I would now like to turn the meeting over to the iBUG guy, Michael McCulloch. Ready to go, Michael?
All right, yes. Thank you, Veena. We are ready to go. And hopefully we have a good crowd here with us already. And we just want to welcome everybody that's joined us today, and also those that are listening to this via the recorded playback and podcasts. If we want to make sure, we don't use the raise hand feature when we get ready to ask questions, or if you want to make a comment, just if you're on a PC, you would use the keys Alt-A to toggle the mute on and off. On a Mac, it's Command-Shift-A. On your iPhone, there'll be down in the bottom left to mute and unmute. And on an iPod or iPad, it's up at the top center. So those are the ways you can easily mute, and just say your name, wait to be recognized by myself, Michael, or my co-host today, Sandhya, and then you may ask your question. All right, I think we are ready to have introductions. We're going to go around the line. We're going to unmute everybody and go around the line. And we would like for you just to say your name, where you're calling from. If you're a first timer, let us know that too. And then we have a icebreaker question. We always like to kind of kick it off with a little icebreaker question. And our question for today is, what was your favorite lunch in the school cafeteria? That could be anywhere from elementary school all the way up to high school. What was your favorite lunch in the school cafeteria? All right. Let's go ahead and open it up, Sandhya, and let everybody.
Jerry from Houston. And my favorite lunch thing is fish sticks.
Right.
Elisa from Porter, and my favorite lunch from the school cafeteria was tamales.
Okay, next.
This is Dan from San Diego, and my favorite lunch was hamburgers.
Very good.
This is Sailor from the Woodlands area. My favorite lunch, sometimes at school they would have Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
I
wow.
love Chick-fil-A, so that was my favorite.
All right.
It's Susan Sumler from Houston. My favorite was banana nut ice cream.
Marty from Bensalem, PA, liverwurst sandwich.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is Tony. Oh, go ahead. Did you want to go?
Oh, no, go ahead. I'll go after.
Okay, this is Tony. You know what? My favorite was BLT's bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches.
Cool.
This is Judy from Connecticut. They used to have those little wrapped up apple pies that had like a glazing on them too in a package. They were square. Those would be mine. Thanks.
Very good.
Anissa from Philadelphia, grilled cheese.
Next.
This is Ned from Kyle, Texas. Pizza.
All right. First pizza man.
This is Keith from Austin, and chicken fried steak day was pretty special at my high school.
Wow. I don't think we ever had that. Very good. Next.
Maricela from Houston, and it was baked chicken.
Okay.
Hi, this is Carol in San Antonio. Now I don't eat this anymore, but I used to love pizza and ice cream.
All right. Yeah.
Jody from New Hampshire, pizza.
All right. Pizza's on the rise. Anybody else out there?
This is Sandhya. Oh, go ahead, Herbie. Go ahead, Freddie. Go ahead.
Freddie from Galveston County, and mine was pizza.
All right. This is Sandhya. Mine was fish sticks.
This is Wilhelmina, and I'm sorry to say is that I think I took my lunch every day. My grandfather was a chef.
Oh,
so I didn't. People traded their food with me. So,
wow, lucky girl.
What was your favorite lunch that your grandpa made?
I guess that he made. Smothered pork chops.
Oh my God, for school lunch? No fair. Okay, very good. Well, welcome to you.
Anybody else?
This is Sree from Springfield, Virginia, and I recall pizza and ice cream sandwich.
Wow. Okay.
Anybody else out there? Okay, I guess I'll go. Again, this is Michael from Houston, and I'm going to go with the burgers. All right. Well, very good. Thanks, everybody, for sharing that. I know, let's see, I believe Tony was a first timer for this call. Tony, tell us, if you would, a little bit more about how'd you hear about us, and what devices, Apple devices, do you own?
Okay, I heard about you through a really good friend. I'm on your email list. The Apple devices that I have is an iPhone and then the 8th generation iPad.
Very good.
And I love them.
All right. Yeah, we all love our Apple devices. Yeah. Anybody, was there any other first timers to this particular meeting out there? Okay. Well, let's take a moment now. We also like to recognize any birthdays or anniversaries during the month of August. So if you've had a birthday, or I guess we still have a couple of days left, birthdays in August or anniversaries. Can announce them. Go ahead, Elisa.
My mom's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, very good. Happy birthday to Elisa's mom.
Terry from Houston yesterday, August 27th.
All right, Terry, happy birthday. Any other August birthdays or anniversaries? All right, very good. Trying to think, there was one or two that people that aren't here that are part of the iBUG team. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Okay, well, very good. Thanks, everybody. Let's see. We will now have a few announcements, iBUG related announcements. Just going to let you know what's coming up during the month of September. And all the times I'm going to be mentioning will be Central Time Zone. So let's see. Normally the first Saturday in the month, we have what we call our iBUG Unplugged on Clubhouse. We made a decision, since that's Labor Day weekend, we are canceling all meetings during Labor Day weekend. So we won't have an iBUG Unplugged this particular month, September. So we'll come back strong in October, though. Also, we normally have our Monday night, regular Monday night iBUG Buzz, and that Monday, September 6th, actual Labor Day, we will not be meeting that evening either. But we will meet the following Monday, because that's going to be our 500th episode of the iBUG Buzz weekly conference. So hopefully we'll do some special things there, and hopefully we'd like to invite everybody to come join us and invite others to come join us. Kind of a special time for us, since we've reached 500 episodes of the iBUG Buzz. Thursday, September 9th, we have our regular iBUG Vila Book Club. We're currently reading the book The President is Missing by Bill Clinton and James Patterson. Still got a little time to read that. DB number is DB 91-164. DB 91-164. If you'd like to read that, join us. Even if you don't get a chance to read it, come join us. That's Thursday, September 9th at 6:30 p.m. right here on this very same Zoom line. Then on Sunday, September 12th, our iBUG Cafe will be back, and that's at 4 p.m. Central Time. And there we will be looking at various music services apps. Of course, the Apple Music, Spotify, and maybe another, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, come join us for that right here again on this very same Zoom conference. Then on Wednesday, September 15th, we have our Android Insight for the Android users. That's just an open Q&A help session that starts at 7 p.m. Central Time on this same Zoom line. Then towards the end of the month, we have our It's iBUG's Life on Clubhouse. And that will be Thursday, September 23rd at 6 p.m. The topic there will be looking at some sleeping disorders that may impact the blind, non-24, one of those that come to mind. We'll be talking about whether that's fact or fiction and those kinds of things. So it should be an interesting conversation there. It's iBUG's Life on Clubhouse. Then we have our Apple Workshop will be back, this same meeting a month from now, September 25th, Saturday, September 25th at 2 p.m. Then the final meeting, monthly meeting, is our iBUG Macintalk. That's Tuesday, September 28th, facilitated by Chanel Allen, and that starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. Then, as I already said, every Monday night except Labor Day will be the iBUG Buzz conference right here on this same Zoom line. Also, we have on Clubhouse the iBUG Mini Buzz every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. And then the iBUG Mac Buzz, that's the first and third Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Finally, well, not finally, but a couple other things. The first and third Thursdays, we also have iBUG Trekkie Talk for our Trekkies out there and wannabe Trekkies. We are currently watching Star Trek Discovery series. And so we watch a couple episodes and then come together and discuss that on the first and third Thursdays at 8 p.m. Then finally, every Friday night, we have a the iBUG night at the virtual movies. We watch such interesting movies as Taxi Driver, which not really. We wanted to watch it, but it wasn't available to us. But we have many others, full range of genre, comedies, romance, dramas, crime thrillers. And so come join us anytime at 7:30 p.m. for the pre-movie social. The movie starts around 8, and usually we stick around and have a discussion and talk about trivia about the movie. That's every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central on this same Zoom line. Those are all the group things we do. We do have some individual training, the iBUG Jumpstart mentoring program, and I'm going to let Sandhya tell you more about that.
All right. So yes, we have the iBUG Jumpstart mentoring program. So if you are a beginner user and you're still kind of learning your way, this program is for you. We help you to learn the basic navigation gestures and try to familiarize you with some of the built-in applications on the iPhone. And it is a 12-week program. And like all of our services, it is completely free. And we are so grateful to our volunteers that help us with this program. So basically fill out an application, please, on our website. It's under the training tab. You can find the mentee application. And then once you have done that, we can match you up with one of our very wonderful volunteers, mentors. And then if you are knowledgeable about your iPhone and would like to help somebody else, then please fill out an application to be a mentor. And then we would be grateful for your help. So that's the iBUG Jumpstart mentoring program.
All right, very good. Thank you, Sandhya. All right, so you can see lots of things going on, and obviously we don't expect you to remember all that, so you can always go to our website, ibugtoday.org. That's ibugtoday.org. And there you can find all of these announcements of the upcoming meetings. All of our training sessions are recorded, so you can also find the recordings there. Additionally, all the training sessions are on the recordings are on our YouTube channel. So you can always just get on YouTube, search for iBUG Today, and drill down and find the various sessions. We have set up playlists for all the different training sessions there. You can also join our Facebook group. Facebook.com/groups/iBUG Today. Another great place to just keep track of upcoming training sessions and meetings and social events. Also, if you have questions that come up in between any of our training sessions, you can post them there and get them answered. Follow us on our Twitter. @iBUG Today is the handle there. We're tweeting out and retweeting information every day about things going on in the Apple world and other tech-related things that we think would be of interest to you. All right, so that is all of the local iBUG-related news. So now I am going to hand over to Sandhya to let her talk about other news and rumors going on in the Apple world.
Okay, here we go, guys. There's lots of interesting Apple news, so let's go. iPhone 13, the lucky number 13, is said to be going on sale on September 17th. So that's just a few more weeks away. And of course, there'll be, normally there'll be like a launch, we'll have an event, an Apple event. So they're thinking that will happen on September 14th. And so looking forward to that, right? Here's some information about the iPhone 13. There was some talk about an under-screen touch ID. We touched about fingerprint scanner. Well, it didn't make it, so not happening on the iPhone, but it was being tested, but it just didn't make it. Okay, so that's fine. So the event will be, like I said, September 14th, and then the iPhone will be released on Friday, September 24th. So that's the proposed schedule. We always speculating, but that's kind of what they're saying. All right, the next thing is the new Apple Watch Series 7. Series 7 rumored to come out larger 41 millimeter and 45 millimeter sizes. So this watch could feature flat edged design that is similar to the design of the iPhone 12 and the iPad Pro. So of course there are leaked renderings of these devices, and there is lots of speculation as to what is going to be doing. There's going to be thinner digital crown and a new speaker design that'll be on the left side of the watch. So that will be great, make the sound better. And it is rumored to be considering color options for the Series 7. It could come in aluminum green, whatever that is. Well, apparently last time they introduced a watch with aluminum blue. So I guess we have a pattern here. Inside the Apple Watch, you could have upgraded S7 chip that could use double-sided technology to cut down on its size. And then the smaller S7 chip could leave room for more additional battery life. So, battery size is always a critical element here. Let's see, what else? Improved connectivity, of course. And then there's a possibility that we could get a new, more durable version of the Apple Watch. There's been some talk about that. I know some of our callers have said, I'm pretty rough on my technology. And Apple has apparently heard that request. And so this is going to be for the athletic people and the hikers and bikers and so forth. So let's see when that will come to fruition. Next, the next generation 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros are said to have equal performance, meaning it's widely rumored that they plan these two size MacBook Pros are going to be powered by a faster version of the M1 chip, faster than the M1 chip, and both of them are going to be equally powerful. So let's see what that means when they come out. They'll also are going to have the physical FN keys instead of the touch bar that we have all kind of talked about. It will have magnetic power cables and more. I can't wait to hear what the and more is. The redesigned M1X Mac, the Mac Mini, is going to be updated with some more ports, and it is expected to launch in the next several months. Okay, so if anybody's looking for a Mac Mini, hold on. Let's see, what else? Okay, next, the Apple Pay. Apple is going to pay $100 million to settle a developer lawsuit. And they have agreed to multiple App Store changes. And Apple has announced plans to make several changes to make things more transparent. This is in response to a class action brought by various developers in the United States. And so under the terms of the deal, Apple will let developers use communication methods like email to tell customers about payment methods available outside of the iOS App Store. So that's a breakthrough. And then there's going to be a fund of $100 million for those small business owners. All right, next. T-Mobile. We all heard about T-Mobile had a security breach. So the CEO is apologizing, understandably, because it was not good. So his name is Mike Ziver, and he was, really very apologetic. And basically what happened is 50 million customers, current, former, and prospective T-Mobile users were impacted, and this information that the hacker was got into are the names, phone numbers, addresses, birth dates, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, ID info, IMEI numbers, and IMSI numbers were stolen and put up for sale. So they will definitely be changing and revamping their security, obviously. The first episode of the SEE, that was a show talking about, I think it was a futuristic community where people lose the vision to see, lose the ability to see. And so that was on Apple TV. And so season 2 will be starting. Episode 1 will be released, and a new episode will be released every Friday going forward for 8 episodes. Now, this sort of interested me, the foldable smartphone. I know this is not an Apple product, but it's kind of good to know what the competition is doing to see, who knows, maybe Apple will be doing something else. So this is the Foldable Z3. It's the Z Fold 3. And it is priced at a mere $1,799.99, and it folds like a book. And so the logic behind this is it will be like a tablet and a phone. So we'll just see how that works out. Then finally, this was an interesting story. An Apple Watch was used to steal $500,000. So what happened was these criminals, the 7 robbers, knew that this drug runner was really rolling in dough, and so literally dough, money. So they put an Apple Watch under the bumper. One of the robbers bought an Apple Watch and put it on his account, and then they were able to use that to follow this victim to his hotel room. And there was some physical violence, but luckily they did not kill the guy. They thought about it. Finally, one of the part of the team went in, got onto the room with the key of the hotel, and walked away with $500,000. These guys later took pictures in front of the cash, and that was used to help prosecute them. So that is your news, Mr. McCulloch, from the Apple world.
Okay, very good. Just lots going on. Usually August is a quiet month in the tech world. Let's see, Sandhya, if you can unmute everybody, let's see if anybody has any questions on any of the news or the announcements. Also, if anybody has any other news that they'd like to share, you can go ahead and do that at this time.
Susan.
Okay, go ahead, Susan.
Yes. I don't know if it was mentioned or not, or maybe I just didn't understand it, but is there any new information concerning iPads coming out for this year?
I haven't heard of any new iPads this year. Maybe in the spring, I thought I heard, but I haven't heard any official announcements about it. I don't know if anybody else has heard anything.
Spring of next year. Okay. I have the 8th generation. I think that's the newest one, and then one more question is, naturally, when Sonia was talking about something about the iPhone 13, something else it was going to feature or something, I got some kind of a notice that came in from my doctor. So I didn't hear that last part Sonia said.
Sonia, you have whatever you said about the iPhone 13.
Yes, there was talk about having a finger touch ID, a fingerprint ID, and they decided not to use that after all. That was the main thing, that they're not going to have that. So that was all I had about the iPhone 13. There'll be lots of new information coming forward in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, are they experiencing any chip problems like a lot of companies are, or have y'all heard anything about that?
There is some of that. Yes, there is.
Okay. Okay,
And-
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great questions. And just a reminder, Sharon has her hand raised. You can just say your name and unmute your stuff, and then we'd be glad to hear your question. We do not use the hand raise feature here. Just say your name,
Elisa?
please. Okay, yes, go ahead, Elisa.
So you mentioned about the new watches, correct? There's gonna be new watches coming out this year. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That was my only question.
Okay, great. Yeah, they'll be coming in about a couple weeks. All right. All right.
Um,
Anybody else?
Yes, this is Tony.
Yes, go ahead, Tony.
Okay, I'll hurry. Concerning the iPhones and the 13, is there going to be an SE, I don't know the exact name, SE3 or something like that? I know there's the SE20. Is there going to be a new SE phone coming out this next, I heard right after Christmas? I don't know.
All right. I am not sure. I kind of think, I don't know. Anybody have any comments on that one? You want to chime in? Say,
If SEs come out, they usually come out later in the springtime.
Oh, later in the spring?
Yeah.
Okay,
Generally.
okay, thanks, thanks.
yeah, usually in March or so. All right. Great question. Anybody else?
Sharon,
Sharon. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Sharon.
A couple questions for the book club. Is that going to be, do you have to go onto the website to register? Is it the same link or what?
It's just the same Zoom conference that we're using today. And yeah, you just join us at 6:30 Central Time for that.
And what day was that? I'm sorry.
Thursday, September 9th.
And it's for The President is Missing. So that's the first one they did together, right?
I think so, yeah.
The President is Missing. Okay, great. And then my other question is for the Apple, the iPhone 13. Are they going to bring back the home key, or is that just button, or is that just gone for good?
I think it's gone for good. Yeah, I don't think there's any plans to bring back the home button.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, very good. Okay, we're going to have to move on now. Let's see. Sandhya, did you make Sree a co-host?
Okay, I'll do that.
Let's see him as a co-host. And also, I guess, go ahead and mute everyone again. So we're going to get into our demos and discussion, and Sree Roy is the first person that's going to be up. Let's see. Let me make sure you guys did hear the intro. Okay, right? At the very beginning when I played.
did.
Okay. Okay. So it came through. So everything should be working good.
Hi, this is Carol. I did not hear the introduction. It took a minute or two before I heard anything.
Oh, okay.
This is Elisa. I heard it. Sorry.
All right. So maybe the phone, people on phones were not able to hear it then.
This is Elisa.
Okay.
I heard it clearly, but it was kind of fast.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't slow the speech down. Apologize.
okay.
Michael, this is Jody. I'm on my phone and I heard it.
Okay, very good. All right, so most people heard it. Sorry about that, Carol. It'll be on the recording though, so if you want to go back and hear that. But it's just my standard greeting intro, which is about, like you said, about a little less than a minute. All right.
Okay, we're getting ready to mute. Okay, hold on one second.
Okay, got everybody muted now. So we're going to get into the demos. Sree Roy is going to be our first demonstrator. And so we will turn it over to Sree to introduce the app that he's going to be discussing.
All right. Michael, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So today I'm going to talk about a settings that we don't really use that much, but it's available in our voiceover. And I thought it'd be a good time to kind of tell you the benefit of maybe trying it out. So what I'm going to talk about is the feature in VoiceOver called activities. So Michael, can you go ahead and start it?
Okay. And yeah, let me know if you don't hear this in a few seconds here.
In one of our Monday Night Buzz call, someone asked, what is activities? And today I'm going to go ahead and explain and demonstrate the functionality of creating a new activity. Activity is found inside VoiceOver. And what it allows us to do is change the VoiceOver default settings to a unique setting that you can apply to any apps. Now, before I start, I do want to give you a heads up. There are plenty of quirks and bugs within the activity, and I'll try and explain some of the quirks and bugs that I've noticed when creating a new activity. Now, before we get started looking into the settings inside activities, I do want you to listen to what my default settings inside my VoiceOver settings is. For example, we're going to take a look at my home screen.
Settings. App Store. Contacts.
As I flick right, you can hear the voice talent, the speaking rate, as well as there are no hints enabled as my default. Now let's take a look at what it sounds like when I'm inside a mail.
App Switcher. Mail. 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 Today I'm going to go over activities, which is located under VoiceOver, TV emoji, telephone receiver emoji, computer mouse emoji, computer mouse emoji. We are going to learn how to configure a new activity. This will.
Okay, so when you were listening to my email, you can definitely hear the speaking rate, the voice talent. You may have also heard that it was speaking out the emojis, but there was no speaking out regarding punctuations because my default VoiceOver setting is set to play emojis, but don't play any punctuations at all. And that's how mine is set up. Before I get into the setting up a new activity, I'm going to go ahead and change my speaking rate to be in a more manageable rate.
Speaking rate. 60, 55, 50 words.
Now I'm going to go ahead and ask Siri to open VoiceOver. Open VoiceOver.
Let's take a look at the VoiceOver settings. Settings, accessibility, back button.
Now I'm going to go ahead and flick right till I get to activities.
VoiceOver, 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 tap one, double tap, learn more, VoiceOver, speaking, speech, braille, VoiceOver, verbosity, audio, commands, activities, button.
Which is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and double tap on activities.
Activities allow you to change a group of VoiceOver settings quickly with the rotor, or automatically when opening an app or encountering a specific item in the user interface.
Okay, it's giving you a description of what activities does. I'm going to go ahead and flick right once.
Add activity button.
Add activities. Double tapping on this will allow me to create a new activity. I'm going to go ahead and double tap on add activity now.
Voice default.
Okay, it landed on voice default, but I want to go ahead and flick left because I want to give this particular activity a unique name, and I'm going to go ahead and flick left.
Speech audio set name, activity 1, text field.
All right, that's the default settings of the name convention. Now there is a quirkiness in this, and what happens is when I double tap to edit it, my keyboard does come up, and when I do a touch and export to delete, the keyboard disappears, and I have to go back into the naming of the activity, and then the keyboard will come up, and I'm able to create a custom name. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap.
Name, text field, is editing, activity 1, word mode, insertion point at end.
I'm going to do a touch and export to get to delete.
Return, delete. Image descriptions, default, button.
All right, it took me way down to image description and the keyboard disappeared. So I'm going to do a touch and explore to go ahead and get back to the naming of this particular activity.
Name, activity, text field.
And I'm going to do a double tap again to bring up the keyboard.
Name, text field, is editing, activity, word mode, insertion point at end.
And I'm going to do a 2-finger double tap and dictate a new name for this particular activity, and I'm going to call it Sree's email. Sree's email.
Delete inserted Sree email.
So now I have renamed this new activity. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Speech audio settings, heading, voice, default, button.
All right, my voice is set to default. And I want to go ahead and change this to Samantha Enhanced. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap on this.
Chinese.
I'm going to go ahead and flick left till we get to English.
Arabic, English, button.
And I'm going to go ahead and double tap to open it.
Select English, US, heading.
All right, it's on English US. I'm going to go ahead and flick right till I get to Samantha.
Alex, but Allison. Download a Fred. Download Nikki. Samantha, button.
I'm going to double tap to select Samantha.
English, US, heading.
I'm going to flick right.
Samantha.
Flick right.
Samantha, enhanced, using 164 MB.
All right, since I've already downloaded
Actions
Samantha,
available.
Since I've downloaded Samantha's Enhanced, I'm going to go ahead and select that one by double tapping.
Selected, Samantha, enhanced, using 164 MB.
I'm going to go ahead and do a scrub to go back.
Selected, Samantha, enhanced, button.
I'm going to scrub to go back again.
English, button.
And I'm going to scrub one more time to go back.
Voice, Samantha, button.
All right, so the default voice has changed to Samantha now, which is what I want. Now I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Speaking rate, 50, adjustable.
All right, my speaking rate is at 50, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Volume, 80, adjustable.
All right, my volume is at 80, and I want to go ahead and reduce this. And I'm going to do this by flicking down to go down, or flick up to go up on the slider. I'm going to flick down.
Possibly. Speaker, volume, 70, adjustable. Possibly. Speaker.
Flick down.
Possibly. Speaker, volume, 60, adjustable. Possibly. Speaker.
I'm going to flick down one more time.
Possibly. Speaker, volume, 50, adjustable. Possibly. Speaker.
All right, so now it's set to 50%, which is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Mute speech, default, button.
I'm going to leave this one alone.
Mute sound, default, button.
Same here.
Audio ducking, default, button.
Same here.
Verbosity settings, heading.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and flick right to verbosity.
Punctuation, default, button.
Punctuation. Now, as you recall from the email that I played for you guys, it did not play any of the punctuations. And one of the bugs in activities is punctuations. Now, sometimes when you enable it, it may read some or all. But in this example, I'm going to try and enable all, and we'll see how it works. I'm going to double tap to select it.
Selected, default.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
All.
Double tap on all.
Selected, all.
And I'm going to go ahead and scrub.
Punctuation, all, button.
Now I'm going to go ahead and swipe right.
Speak emojis, default, button.
Now, as you recall in my email, it was reading all the emojis. So this time I want to turn it off so it doesn't read any more emojis on my emails. So double tap.
Selected, default.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
On.
Flick right.
Off.
Off. Double tap.
Selected, off.
And I'm going to go ahead and scrub.
Speak emojis, off, button.
I'm going to flick right.
Container descriptions, default, button.
I'm going to go ahead and leave this one alone.
Table headers, default, button.
Same.
Row column numbers, default, button.
Leave this alone.
Image descriptions, default, button.
Yep, leave this alone.
Speak hints, default, button.
Speak hints. I have turned speak hints off, so I'm going to go ahead and enable this by double tapping.
Selected, default.
Flick right.
On.
Double tap.
Selected, on.
I've selected it. I'm going to go ahead and scrub.
Speak hints, on, button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Braille settings, heading.
Now there's some Braille settings that you can enable in activities. I'm not a Braille user, so I'm just going to flick right, but you may find some of these settings helpful to your activity.
General status cell, default, button. Text status cell, default. Braille table, default. Braille output, default. Braille input, default, button. Auto advanced duration, 5S, button. Automatic switching, heading.
All right, automatic switch headings. I'm going to go ahead and flick right.
Apps, button.
Apps. This is where I can select an app to be applied in this activity. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select it.
Apply to, heading.
I'm going to go ahead and do a 3-finger swipe up to go down the list until I hear mail.
Adobe Rose 80 Rose 1 HK remote but Rose 1 Magic Home button lift button Magic Home magnifier mail button.
There's mail. I'm going to go ahead and double tap to select it.
Selected mail.
Okay, my mail is selected, so I'm going to go ahead and scrub.
Apps button.
If I flick right,
context button.
Context. This is basically other apps that are not linked to any of the apps prior. I'm going to go ahead and double tap so you can listen to some of the options available here.
Word processing.
Flick right.
Narrative.
Flick right.
Messaging.
Flick right.
Social media. Spreadsheet. Source code. Console.
And console. So those are your options there. I'm going to go ahead and scrub to go back because I'm not going to select any of these.
Context button.
I'm going to flick right.
Choose apps or contexts within apps to automatically apply the settings from this activity.
Okay, that explained it. Flick right.
Interaction heading.
And flick right.
Modifier keys default button.
And you can also change the modifier key either from caps lock or control option using a keyboard, but I'm not going to go ahead and select that. And those are all the settings that I have configured for this particular mail in activity. And it should be ready to be applied. I'm going to go ahead and scrub to go back.
Sree email button.
Okay, and has
actions available.
The action available to my email that I created called Sree's email. Now let's take a look at what the behavior changes occurred to my mail by creating this activity. So I'm going to go ahead and open the mail app.
App switcher, settings, active, mail, active. Actions available. Mail.
Mail. Hello everyone.
All right, I'm going to
Swipe up or down to select a custom action. Then double tap to activate.
I'm going to go ahead and have it read it.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over activities, which is located under VoiceOver. We are going to learn how to configure a new activity. This will involve us going into our VoiceOver settings and double tapping on activities to create it. So let's see how this works. Best regards, Sree, unread.
So as you can tell, the voice talent, the speaking rate, and the emojis updated. The punctuations did not. It actually did not even read any punctuations, but it didn't play the emojis, and it did change the speaking rate and the voice talent. And so that is how activities work. Even though I created a new activity and applied it to the mail app, you can definitely use the rotor and access that activity to be applied to other places. For example, I'm going to show you how you can apply it to your default home screen. So right now on my home screen, I have the following talent and speaking rate as well as other features.
Settings. App Store.
So you can hear the voice talent, but you can also hear that I have disabled hints. Now if I go to the rotor and go to activities,
Handwriting, characters, words, speaking rate, audio ducking, volume, punctuation, sounds, hints, activities.
and either I flick up or flick down.
Sree's email.
And now I've selected Sree's email to be the default. And if I'm in the home screen and I go ahead and touch an app,
Messages. Double tap to open.
you can hear that the hint is there as well as Samantha Enhanced voice talent is what's in there. So if I go back to the rotor and change it.
Handwriting. Lower characters. Words. Speaking. Audio. Volume. Punctuation. Sounds. Hints. Activities.
And I flick up or down.
No activity selected.
And no activity selected. Now I'm back in the home screen.
FaceTime.
And I'm back to the mail talent and there is no hint. So that is one way you can reuse the activity you create somewhere else. Now let's see how we go and delete the activity we created. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Sree to open VoiceOver. Open VoiceOver.
Here are the VoiceOver settings.
I'm going to go
Settings, accessibility, back button.
I'm going to go ahead and flick right till we get to activities.
VoiceOver, VoiceOver, tap one, double, learn, VoiceOver, speaking, speech, braille, VoiceOver, verbosity, audio, commands, activities, button.
And double tap to select it.
Sree's email, button.
All right.
Actions available.
It said that there's action available, and if I flick up or flick down, I'll be able to remove the activity that I created. So if I flick up,
Delete.
delete, and double tap,
Performed action. Activities allow you to change a group of voiceover settings quickly with the rotor, or automatically when opening an app or encountering a specific item in the user interface.
and that is how we delete an activity that we create.
All right, awesome demo, Sree. I don't think I've ever used that feature on activities. A lot of neat things there. Did you have any final comments to wrap up about the voiceover activity, Sree? And just let it.
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was just going to say, this is something really interesting that I learned, and the benefits of using it. Just be aware that there is some quirkiness. I did present it to Apple, the bugs that I've found, and they were able to replicate it. So hopefully in the next few updates, they will address these bugs, and then you'll be able to fully utilize this part of VoiceOver.
Very cool. Yeah, I especially like the way you could, have it in the rotor and then apply it to some other apps or whatever, wherever you are at the time. Okay, just to let everybody know, we are going to just please take a note of your questions, and we're going to hold all questions off until we get through all three of the presentations. So, all right, next up is, me. Okay. What I wanted to talk to you about today is something that's been a little bit controversial in the news here recently. It's a new feature that Apple will be introducing on their various platforms, and it's intended to expand the protections for children. And in doing so, in both on all their iOS, Mac OS, Watch OS, they're trying to, for one thing, I don't know if you've heard of the Csam database, the Child Sexual Abuse Material Database. So that's a known database of child pornography and sexual material. And so they're, looking at that and making sure that none of their material, none of the photos or anything like that would come across that could potentially a child could see to block that kind of information. And then also there's a feature just in regular messaging where they'll look for different things that could be of a sexual nature, and then it'll let the kid know that this might be harmful, and that if you continue, then it'll also send a message to their parents if the parents have it set up to do so. But anyway, what I wanted to do, and the controversy, of course, is always offsetting privacy versus security. And so there's been a lot of things going on in the news this past month. I think this came out early August when it was Apple first put a notice about it. And so a lot of different podcasts have been talking about it. And I found one that I thought was pretty informative. Some of you guys may listen to iMore. That's a weekly podcast. And so I just wanted to play it's a little less than 20-minute segment out of that will explain this in a lot more detail than I can even think about, and in a lot more intelligent way and a lot more fun way. So I'm going to just share that with you, and then we'll have some, like I said, questions at the very end if anybody has any. So here we go.
Because Apple came out with this these new child safety protections. Well, they announced these new child safety protections that will be coming with the major software updates, let's say next month, just to be safe. iOS 15, iPadOS 15, and macOS Monterey. So Renee, we wanted to have you on the show to just kind of walk us through some of that. What exactly is going on here?
All right, so there's 3 separate features that are coming US only at first, US only, iOS 15, iPadOS 15. The first one, the idea of it is if you are enrolled as a child, like if you have a device that has parental controls on it, and you get an explicit image, it will warn you that the image is explicit. It's using on-device machine learning to determine what an explicit image is. Don't make any of your Impossible Burger jokes because I'm sure they've heard them, all over already. And then it'll pop up a warning saying this might be an explicit image. Do you want to see it anyway? And you can choose yes or no. If you're under the age of 13 and it's enabled, if you choose yes, it's going to say, are you really sure? Because we're going to alert your parents that you're getting this image. And then you can still say, yes, sure. It's literally a picture of a hot dog from the last baseball game. Get off my back, Apple. And the same thing happens if you send an image. If you go to send it, it'll say, this looks like a sexually explicit image. Are you sure you want to send it? And then you can say yes. And if you're under the age of 13, and again, your parents have enforced that permission, it'll say, are you really sure? Because we're going to, tell your parents. And then you can say yes or no. And it's some people have looked at this as though it's breaking end-to-end encryption. It's not, in that end-to-end encryption is about disclosure. It's like nobody who shouldn't be seeing the message is seeing the message. If you choose to send a message to somebody, you are opting them in to seeing that message. And this is the same thing. You or your legal guardian gets to decide if someone else gets to see messages under certain circumstances. So it doesn't have to be enrolled in this. You'll know for sure if you are enrolled in this. Nobody can enroll you in this without your knowledge of it. You may not like it if you're under the age of 13. You may not like that it exists, but it's there. And Apple's intending this to prevent grooming. Some people say, why don't you do this for adults? Nobody wants to get those eggplant pics. Like, let all of us have this as an option. And they're not commenting on that yet, but it's meant to stop grooming, people sending, images to children to eventually scale up to greater abuse. That's the first one. The second one is the Csam database, which is a database of known images that involve, I don't know if we can actually say what it stands for on YouTube, or that's instant quarantine on YouTube side. So it's it's a database of the absolute worst images, images that it is illegal to possess. A lot of stuff you can search for, like a lot of stuff might be like disreputable. You might have ethical qualms. This stuff is illegal to possess. Again, it's US only. It's the US Csam database. And what Apple is doing is, my gut is that Apple's not legally allowed to have this stuff on their servers. They do not want this stuff on their servers, but they don't want to scan all our photos on their servers to find it and get rid of it, which is what every other tech company does. Facebook, Microsoft. Microsoft invented the I forget what it's called, something DNA, photo DNA technology 10 years ago to solve this problem. They've been using it ever since. Apple's is very similar in terms of the algorithms being used, but Facebook, Twitter, Google, everybody does this. Apple doesn't want to do it on their servers because they'd have to actually go through all our photos. So what they decided to do is this incredibly intricate, kind of clever approach where they take the database, they convert it to what they call neural hash. So the database is already hashed. You don't actually have the pictures. You have hashes, which is a mathematical representation of the picture. And Apple wraps that in a neural hash to make it just one more level abstracted. Because some people were afraid that you're getting these pictures on your device so that Apple could match against them. Nobody's getting any Csam on their device. You're getting the neural hashes. And what those neural hashes do is only if and when you upload to iCloud Photos. If you don't use iCloud Photos, if you're not uploading anything, doesn't affect you in the least. If you're uploading your images to iCloud Photos, as they're being uploaded, Apple will check them against these hashes. Apple won't say exactly what's in the hash formula, the same way Microsoft won't talk about photo DNA, because they don't want anybody to try to game the system. But as you're uploading it, if Apple thinks there's a match in the hashes, they're going to put a secure receipt on that image. They're not going to do anything with it, not going to look at it, but they're going to attach a secure receipt to the photo as it's being uploaded. Now, one photo being uploaded, 2 photos, 2 matches, Apple's still not doing anything. when they hit a threshold, there's a private threshold technology that means we've broken the secret up into 1,000 parts, and only if you get enough of the parts will you be able to unlock the secret. That's what Apple's using here. They won't say how many that the threshold is because they don't want to say it's 100, and then people are like, woohoo, I can have 99 images, it won't be a problem. So they're keeping that deliberately ambiguous, but what they're doing is if you get enough of these hashes, it's still not going to be on your device, not looking at your device, but if enough of these hashes are associated with your account on iCloud, it's going to trigger an alert to Apple. At that point, the threshold will be met, and Apple's going to close your iCloud account for essentially violating the law by having these images and uploading them to Apple servers. At that point, humans, right before they close your account, a human's going to review it and make sure there's actual matches, because they want to make sure there's as few chance of error as possible. So the algorithm has an error base, the receipts have an error base, they're going to intervene, and the human can unlock those images, which is probably the worst job imaginable for a human. But again, every tech company has a group of humans who burn out very quickly doing this job, and they authenticate the images. And if they're proven to be authentic, then your account is closed and law enforcement is notified. Now, you can, if there's a false positive, obviously they're not going to do any of that stuff. They'll try to figure out what went wrong in the process, do quality assurance on the process. But if it is accurate, they'll alert law enforcement. You can protest. You can say this is a false positive. You can object to this, and they have a procedure in place to handle objections for this. But otherwise, that account is gone, and you are being reported for violation of Csam, which is again, the mere possession of is illegal.
Right.
And all that tech data is asking a question about why. So, and this is what some people are asking, like, it doesn't look at images that you're taking live, because some people worry, if grandma takes a picture of baby in the bath, suddenly she's going to be under arrest. But it doesn't have anything to do with your current photos. It has to be on the existing database. And my gut instinct is that Apple just cannot have this stuff on their servers, and rather than go through everyone's photos on the servers like every other company does, they're doing this process to maintain the privacy of your photos while still making sure none of those photos end up on their servers. So it's not a prevention technology. It's a legal compliance technology.
Renee, the question about, I guess, it's not like an opt-out, not like a built-in opt-out, but Apple has confirmed that this doesn't work if you don't use iCloud Photos, which is
correct.
Seems like a double-edged sword, because it's like, oh great, well if you don't want to be part of this, turn your iCloud Photos off. But then equally, it seems as kind of old dad tech is saying, well, that just seems like that it's an opt-out for the bad guys as well as the good guys, I guess. Is that like an oversight, or is that just kind of par for the course with how the system works?
I think it's neither. I think because it's designed to stop trafficking is one of the elements. And trafficking is just the ability to distribute these photos. And people use all sorts of means of doing that. But if you turn off iCloud Photos thinking, I'm going to use Google Photos instead, screw Apple, Google is actually scanning the photos for this. You're saying I'm leaving them in Facebook. Facebook is scanning the photos for this. Dropbox scans photos for this. The only difference is Apple is trying to do it in a way where they don't actually have to look at your photos while they're doing it. So it's really designed to keep it off Apple servers and prevent I guess, the easy trafficking of this. You'll have to put some effort in if you want to keep up your trafficking.
So Apple isn't really trying to prevent the distribution of these kinds of illegal photos. They're just trying to stay out of it on their end so that they're not legally liable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it would be really hard to prevent it, because people can come up with all sorts of apps and systems, and private FTP servers, that kind of stuff they would have to get really draconian if that was at all going to be implemented.
Right.
And I think they'd rather leave that to the FBI and the authorities who are properly capable of handling it.
So why is this controversial?
I think it wasn't well explained. I think the page went up, and it's really intricate, involved technologies. And if there's anything that Twitter and social media and YouTube and blogs hate, it's complicated, nuanced, multiple truth, large amounts of data.
The plan's also leaked beforehand as well, which I think to go even like a step further back, I think a lot of people were kind of, already talking about what Apple might do or what might the implications and security issues about this be and then Apple sort of came out with their official plans, and everybody already sort of had like a preconceived kind of notion of what was happening, I think, which was super unhelpful, I guess, for Apple.
Well, there are the third one, I'll just cover that really quickly because it's small. So search and Siri will also now, if you try to search for this kind of material, search and Siri will put up a thing saying this is really dangerous material. Even searching for it can be harmful. Can we direct you to some resources as to why? So it'll pop that up in front of you.
Which is super not controversial, isn't it? That's just like any kind of regular, like if my carrier does like 18 plus, filters for content search and stuff like that. So seems like an easy win, that one.
Yeah, this is just Siri saying, what if you didn't?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Or you have to at least go and do it manually. Like, we're not going to facilitate easy voice connection to this kind of stuff. So I'll take that as asking a lot of really good questions. So the Apple deliberately so there's a lot of questions like, is a government going to come and say, we want you to, or secretly try to hack a bunch of images? Like, let's say Corto Maltese, I'm using this because it's a deliberately ridiculous example. Let's say Corto Maltese is tired of the Suicide Squad intervening in their domestic politics, and they want all the Suicide Squad members. So they go and they hack all their photos into the database. Will that work? And no, because it's existing photos only. So if you have a poster collection on your phone, that will trigger it. But if you just see them or take a photo of them in the wild, it won't work because those aren't existing images. And if someone says they're going to force Apple to put these images into the system, the same thing, like you'd have to literally have a collection of these existing images. It won't help for real-time surveillance or signal intelligence or anything like that. The other fear is that it's political propaganda, like what they consider propaganda, what you might consider free speech. Like, let's say you have these images of a pro-democracy movement or of a person, like a poster of a person who's pro-democracy in a government that doesn't like that. And the protection against that is that it's universal. It's not regional, the system. So trying to insert it surreptitiously or demanding Apple add it would add it to everything. So this would pop up on it would have to go through Apple. Apple would be the only one who gets the receipt from it. An Apple manual reviewer would open it and say, this is not illegal, and not give it to anybody. And if they did, it would be forwarded to US law enforcement, who would then say, no, this is not the kind of material that's illegal here. We're really sorry about that. They would never actually know about it because US law enforcement wouldn't do anything with it. So it's got all of these safeguards built in. And Apple, I think, understands it's not going to be perfect, but they want to put as many safeguards in as possible so that affords them enough time to continue to perfect it over time.
Yeah, I can see why people are confused. Like, this is a lot.
I understand even how Apple had trouble communicating it.
It's hard.
It's
not a back door because there's no access. Like, one of the things people said is the back door, but it's not. There's no access beyond disclosed parties. Like, Apple's been scanning for malware signatures for years. They literally go through the files, match them with hashes of malware, and if it's malware, they refuse to let them onto the device. And this is conceptually, like, it's a much more hot button topic, but it's conceptually no different than that. And that's not a back door because that's a relationship between you and the device vendor. And this is the same thing. There's nothing going on here that opens the system to any external parties. It is entirely yours unless a certain flag limit is held. And then it's between you and Apple, which is the case with multiple things you already do on your iPhone every day.
So just for clarification's sake, so we get this out in like one sentence.
Yeah.
If that, say, manual reviewer were to find illegal material on your had been on your device or was stored on your device, then it's on Apple to forward that to the relevant authorities.
Mm-hmm.
There's no direct access.
Yeah, and they're also working. It's the NCMEC, which is like it's not like a charity. It's like a national kind of organization that sort of deals with this.
An advocacy organization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I guess there's sort of like we said, there's the three things, and there's the Siri and search guidance, which is super not controversial. It's almost like, oh well, why didn't they already sort of do that? And then there's the new messages tools, which again, like Renee said, is a bit more controversial because people are like, oh, this is kind of breaking end-to-end encryption. But so I guess to kind of clarify this, the messages stuff, you're about to look at a message that you might not want to see, or you're about to send a message that somebody else might not want to see to a young child or something. That's not like Apple or there's no algorithm. They can't see the messages or the content. It's like, like an algorithm. It's like it's machine learning based, isn't it? So it's the device. It's contained. It's almost like Apple Pay in that it's out of Apple's hands almost. Would that be right?
It's two things. So the CSAM system is just using hashes. There's no images involved at all at any point. It's just whether a mathematical formula from one image matches a mathematical formula from another image. And the images themselves, the pixels are never examined. The one for communications protection for children, like basically sending or receiving sexually explicit images, that's using machine learning to try to determine if those images, because those aren't an existing database of images. Those are images that are being received or generated maybe on the fly. So that's using machine learning the same way it would identify anything else, but that's not being shared with Apple or anybody. That's unique to your device, and you or your legal guardian has control over who's seeing that.
Yeah. Another question that's coming for, and please keep the questions coming, because I know personally I have probably as many questions as kind of everybody watching and listening. So someone's asked, again, Old Dad Tech. So what would stop Apple from, Apple can do this like in messages, right? Or part of like iCloud Photos. What would stop Apple moving this to like, maybe as I said, that iMessage search history or, different parts of your phone, or moving the same features, because obviously they're US only right now, moving the same features beyond US shores where maybe there are different laws or, different emphases on like privacy and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's the same it's the same that stops them or starts them from doing anything. I think that's why I'm not always as interested in the what as the why. But they could, like they were doing this with malware signatures. They were scanning for malware signatures. Now they're scanning for CSAM signatures. Theoretically, they could scan for anything, but there's no need, which is a terrible answer, but it's true of every company ever. These images are, again, illegal to possess. Some people have worried that maybe they'll search for drug images, but those aren't illegal to possess. I joke that maybe they'll search John Prosser's phone for iPhone images, for upcoming device images. Those aren't illegal to possess. And these are the big hot button ones. These are the ones when governments seek to get involved, it's almost always CSAM that comes up first, with terrorism that almost always comes up second. And it's going to just be up to Apple to say what they believe is an acceptable use of the technology. And also regionally too, like if Canada asks for this, it'd probably be a very different discussion than if Porto Maltese, and I keep using that fictional terrorist island nation, asks for it. And they're going to have to make those decisions based on local laws on a case-by-case basis. And Alt Tech also asked about machine learning designed by humans. The machine learning is not involved with the CSAM stuff at all. That's just hash matching. The machine learning is only involved on your devices for the sending and receiving for minors. And again, you can override it. Like if you think it's wrong, you just say, I want to see the picture anyway. Or if you don't care, you just say, I want to see the picture anyway. The only difference is if you're under 13 and your parents decide to enforce it, they can get an alert when you decide to override it. So no messages are being deleted or squashed. It's just this double layer of warnings that pop up and parental disclosure if they want it for people under 13.
I've spoken to one kind of security expert about this who was pretty impressed with the system itself being privacy preserving. Do you think there's a sense that Apple is maybe trying to get, like, do you think this is something that governments down the line might have asked for, and Apple is almost trying to get ahead of that and doing it on their own terms rather than have something imposed on them or like a request like from the FBI or something like that? Do you think this is trying to retain like some level of control in that?
There've been a bunch of theories. One of them is that regulation is coming, and Apple wants to make sure that they have this in place before the regulation comes, because the regulation will inevitably be worse. It will be a backdoor, or it will be live scanning of entire databases, and they want to have something built out that prevents that from happening.
Okay, I'm going to pause that there. I think that's enough for now. Quite a bit of information there, but I think you get the gist of what's going on and what's coming in our upcoming iOS 15 and iPads and Macs for the different devices. With that, I am now going to hand it over to Sandhya, who's going to talk about another feature or another app on iOS. Sandhya, you want to go ahead and introduce your topic?
Yes, sir. So we're going to be talking about the Find My app. We have touched on it a couple of times in different contexts, but I really think it's a very important app, and I will be telling you why shortly. I would like to talk to you today about a very powerful app that is built right into your iPhone, and that is called the Find My app. Find space My, Find My. And just think about how much time and money we spend on our Apple devices, our iPhones, our iPads, our Macs, our Apple Watches, our AirPods. I mean, all of these things have a pretty hefty price tag. And it would, in addition to losing the value of the product, we are so dependent on them. So you really want to protect them in any way that you can. And so this app will help you do that. So the Find My app makes it really easy to keep track of your friends and family and then all of your devices using either your iPhone, your iPad, or your Mac. And these will work even if the lost device might be offline. And all of this is accomplished while protecting your privacy. Let's get started and open the app. I'm going to use Sree to do that. Open Find My.
Find My map.
Okay, so we are here in the app. I like to kind of go over the layout of the app. It looks like usually there is a map of some kind that really doesn't help me too much. It kind of lists some of the streets nearby so I can let you hear what that is. And I guess there is a visual. It's probably showing either your devices or people around you or something, but let me show you.
Map my location. Krishnavani Sigarede map. Krishna map. Rajwari Rao and Krishnavani my location 4114.
So it's telling me where I am, and then it's showing me these people. And so I have received permission, I am a little bit of a stalker, but these are all family members and they have all consented to being stalked. Okay, well, so I have my niece. So as I swipe down, it'll show their name and then where they are. So let's just go through that.
Krishnavani Sigarede, map pen.
Okay.
Andy Rao, map pen.
So this map pin, so I guess they're on the map. That's really not helpful.
Rate map settings, but tracking, card controller, people, heading.
Now, here we go. At the bottom, it says people. So these are people that I can see exactly where they are. I'm going to swipe right.
Andy Rao, Houston, TX now, 0 miles. Actions available.
So that is because she lives next door. So that's good to know that she's home. I'm going to swipe again, right.
Krishnavani Sigarede, ice cube sandwich now, 0 miles. Actions available.
I don't know what that means, ice cube sandwich, but she's home as well.
Rajwari Rao, Houston, TX now,
You get the
0
point,
miles.
my mom, and then...
Rao, Brenham, TX, 2 minutes ago. Actions available. Vasurao, Brenham, TX now, 66 miles.
All right, so my brother is in Brenham eating the best ice cream in the country, if we know Bluebell, right? Okay, shameless plug for Bluebell. I do not have any interest in Bluebell, but I do like the ice cream. Okay, but we digress. So we know where my brother is. So now if I wanted to use Sree to find one of these people that would work. So I can say, where is my sister? And let's see what she says. Where is sister Anu Rao?
Anu Rao should be nearby.
Okay.
Located now. 0 miles away.
All right, so there she is, very helpful. The next thing I want to show is perhaps let's think of the future when we're all going to get to go and do fun things again. And my thing is I really want to go to a concert, and I would like to go to a concert with a bunch of my friends. So how am I going to know when they get there and all that good stuff? So how I can do that is I can share my location with them, and you will see that they will know when I get there. And we can decide how long we want to give them that information, and it's pretty cool. So right before all the tabs at the end, if you swipe to the left,
Share my location button.
gonna double tap on that.
Text field is editing. Insertion point at start. Actions available.
Here is where you can type in a person's name, and then you can start sharing your information with them. So once I choose share my location, I'll type the person's name.
Text field is editing. Character insertion point at shift S R R E E. Sree Roy, mobile +1.
Okay.
Keith Pavoto.
Okay, I trust Sree Roy's not a serial killer, I don't think. So I'm going to share my location with Sree. All right, so let's see here.
Text field is editing. Sree Roy.
So it's got his phone number in there. And now if I swipe to the left, it'll say send. So then I click on send.
Send button. Send. Share for 1 hour button.
And these are the choices: share for 1 hour,
Share until end of day
end
button.
of day,
Share indefinitely button.
indefinitely,
Cancel button.
or cancel. Maybe I don't want to do this at all. So I can pick 1 hour,
Share for 1 hour button.
1 hour. And
Alert, you started sharing your location with Sree Roy. Okay button.
And then just to make sure you really meant to do that.
Map.
And this way he will know when I get there. So that was the first tab, that was the people tab, and now we're going to go to the device tab. So that's a fun one, right? So double tap on that.
Devices tab 2 of 4 selected. Devices tab 2.
And once I type all that, just go down to the kind of the middle of the page, and then you start seeing all your devices, and I'm assuming there's some kind of a visual depiction of them all on a map, but we won't worry about that. So I'm going to look at my devices that I have that are connected to this Apple ID.
Sandhya's iPhone, Houston, TX now.
Okay, they're all
Sandhya's
here.
Apple Watch, Houston, TX 4 minutes ago. Sandhya's iPad, Houston, tab bar, people, tab. Sandhya's MacBook Air, Houston, TX.
So maybe I want to know where that is. So I'm going to double tap on the MacBook.
Map. Card control. Sandhya's MacBook Air. Directions. Directions. Notify when found. Dimmed. Switch. Direct. Play sound. Off. Button.
Gonna play sound.
Play sound. Connecting. Okay. Button. Play sound. Playing. Button.
So that is coming from a Mac. And if I, wow.
Text. Find my map alert.
Find my map alert.
Play sound. Text. Off. Button. Okay. Button.
All right, so we stopped that. So we know now where the Mac is. And one more example. Sometimes I forget where my Apple Watch is, so I can now try the same thing with that.
Card control. Sandhya's Apple Watch 4001 now. Button. Play sound off. Button.
Play sound.
Play sound.
And
Connecting.
let's see where it is.
Play sound. Playing. Button.
Kind of gets a little louder. So now let me see, how do I stop it on my watch?
Play sound off. Button.
Dismiss. Button.
Dismiss.
Enter passcode.
All right, there we go. That's good. Now we're going to try to find my iPad. Let's see where it is.
George Mike. Sandhya's iPad. Houston. TX now. 0
I double tap on it.
Play sound off. Button.
Don't want to do that. Let's just keep swiping to the right and see what other options we have.
Directions. 10 feet. 1 minute. Button.
Get directions.
Notifications. Notify when found. Mark as lost.
So I'm going to pick activate.
Mark activate. Button. Double tap to dismiss pop-up window. Button.
And then it gives you all these instructions of what is going to happen once you activate the lost mode.
Sandhya's iPad. Sree, what will happen?
And it just tells you everything. Like, so I'll just summarize what's going to happen is it will be locked. It can only be unlocked with your passcode. And then you can put a phone number and a message on your lock screen so that whoever finds it can hopefully call you back. So let's do that. I'm going to pick the continue.
All lost mode feature. Continue button.
It's the bottom right.
Enter phone number heading. This phone number phone heading optional. Text field. Text field.
So I'm going to put my phone number in.
At start.
Well, why aren't you?
Home. Text field is editing. Insertion point at end. 3 3 7 0 8 8.
Okay, so we got our phone number.
Optional phone. This phone number. Enter phone number. Next button.
Keep going to the next button.
Next. Double tap to dismiss pop-up window.
Then we can put a message.
Message heading. This iPad has been text field. Text field is editing. Character mode. Insertion point at start. Dictate button.
I am lost. I want to go home. Period.
Inserted. I am lost. I want to go home.
All right. So that's the message that is going to appear on my iPad.
Enter message. Heading. Next button.
Double tap.
Next. Double tap to dismiss pop-up window button.
So now they have the phone number and the message.
Lost mode. Activate button.
So now I'm going to hit the activate button. Now I am back at my iPad. Suppose that I am this good Samaritan and I found this iPad just walking down the street, and I open it and this is what it says.
Lost iPad.
Lost iPad.
I am lost. I want to go home.
Okay.
713208.
All right, so there's my phone number. And if I want to, let's keep swiping and see what happens.
7132. Passcode field. 0 of 4 values entered.
And even though I am the owner of this iPad and I have the fingerprint Touch ID activated, it is deactivated. So right now when I'm putting my index finger on the Touch ID, it is not working. So I'm going to put my secret code in there. And then after I've entered my passcode, we are at my home screen and I'm able to see all my apps.
Clock. Maps. Home. News.
All right. And perhaps if you are really worried about your device and the various, important information that you have on your phone, you can also do the nuclear option, which is
erase this device button.
Erase this device, and what will happen if I do that?
Double tap to dismiss pop-up window. Cancel. But erase iPad. Heading. All content and settings will be erased when this iPad connects to the internet. An erased iPad cannot be located or tracked any longer. Sandhya's iPad. Sree said when you recover this iPad, some services may temporarily be disabled after it's restored. Continue, but continue when you recover this
I don't want to do that, so I'm going to cancel.
all erase cancel button.
But that is always an option. The next tab we're going to go to is the Items tab, and that's the third one.
Selected Items tab. Selected Items tab. 3 of 4.
And this one is, may sound familiar to some of you guys. We talked about air tags, remember, my favorite thing in the whole world. So iBUG did a very detailed iBUG cafe on June 13th, all about air tags and tiles. So I would recommend that you check that out, but just to see how we could find an item here, I will just do a brief demo of that.
Identify found. Add new. Sandhya's wallet. 4,110. Darnest way. Now with you.
Okay,
Actions
I can
available.
double tap on that.
Select map.
And let's see, what is it going to say?
Carl Young Park. Aberdeen Way. Play sound off button.
Gonna
play sound connecting.
Okay. So that's pretty good.
Find nearby button notifications. Find nearby button. Find 1.1 finding Sandhya's wallet heading.
So it's vibrating.
One item within reach. 1.2 foot nearby. Done button.
And
Actions
I
available.
can feel around and look for my 1.1 feet.
Here.
Okay. There it says it's here because it's in my hand. Very cool. Okay, we're here.
Done. 1.7 foot. Map. Airlock lane, east-west.
This is also where you could add a new air tag if you want to, tag something else previously untagged. And you can also identify a new item if maybe you find somebody else's tag. I guess that's where you could identify it, and then it'll ping the network. Now, the final tab is the Me tab, my favorite tab, right? Okay, so I'm going to swipe to the right.
Selected Me tab. Selected Me tab.
And as you can imagine, this is basically your profile information. So like, what is your address?
Home, 4,114.
Okay.
My location, this device and cellular Apple Watch. Share my notifications.
You can share your location or not share your location. I have it on because that's way people can know where I am.
Item safety alerts, switched button, on.
Keep that on.
Allowed friend requests, switched, receive location updates, everyone.
So you can have that for everyone or only people that you share with.
Edit location name, button.
You can edit your location. Maybe you want it to be your, whatever this is, wherever you are, maybe you want it to be your home or the gym or work or whatever, you can do that. So when people see that, they're like, oh, Sandhya's at work or Sandhya's at home, okay?
Help a friend, button.
So this is a really important feature. Suppose you're somewhere out and about and then somebody else, one of your friends, loses their iPhone. It happens. And how can you help them? Because they need to be able to log into iCloud and be able to track their device. Well, this is where you would do it. So I'm going to hit Help a Friend.
Me, open iCloud.com so other help a friend, button. Safari alert, sign in.
So we can either sign in as ourselves or
cancel. But do you want to sign into iCloud.com with your Apple ID Sree at yahoo.com? Continue button. Use a different Apple ID button. Safari app.
So we would think that somebody else is going to be using their Apple ID, so it's not going to be your Apple ID.
Reload button. Vertical lines. Copyright system step. iCloud find my iPhone Apple. Keep me signed in. Continue. Dim. Forgot Apple ID or password? Opens the
So I have the text field,
insertion point. Log into app.
and I'm going to type in my dad's ID here real quick.
8800
Okay. And then
use Pochoray at your keyboard button.
so I hit the continue.
Continue. But iCloud find my iPhone password. Secure text field is at insertion point at end.
I'm going to put the password in. Typed in the password.
Keep me signed in. Sign in. Forgot Apple. Sign in. Sign in.
All right.
Button. Open app. Link. Legal. Button. Open app. Link.
And as I'm swiping through this screen,
Offline. Refresh. Button. iPhone. Image. iPhone. Offline. iPhone. 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 Image. Legal. But refresh. iPhone.
just swiping.
iPhone. Seen just now.
Seen just now. So I'm assuming there is a map of some sort here. One more thing that I wanted to talk to you about is notification between you and another person. For example, this is back under the People tab. So I showed you all those people that I am tracking, but maybe I want to know certain things, like maybe when they arrive or when they leave, or maybe I want them to know when I arrive. So I'm going to just quickly show you that. There's a notification section once you've picked a person. So I've picked my mom.
Notification. Add button.
So I'm going to add.
Add. Notify me button.
And so you have notify me of the other person, or you can notify the person about yourself.
Notify Rage Jwari Brow button.
So one or the other. So I'm going to pick me.
Notify me button.
So what do I want to be notified about? So I'm going to double tap on that.
Double tap to dismiss pop-up window button.
Various choices. Talk about stalker. Here we go.
Selected. Rage Jwari leaves.
You can pick when she leaves.
Rage Jwari arrives.
When she arrives. I'm just swiping right now.
So Rage Jwari is not at. Location.
And you can pick a location when she's not home or when she's not at work.
Selected. Rage Jwari's current location. 4000. My current location. New location button. Frequency. Heading. Selected. Only once.
So how often do you want to be notified?
Every time.
Every time. And then you can go back.
Cancel. Button. Notify.
And the converse is true. If we want for my mom to know when I arrive, I can go to notify Rajeshwari.
Cancel. Notify Rage Jwari Brow. Heading.
Of what?
Add button.
So we can add.
When I arrive.
When I arrive.
Selected. I leave.
When I leave.
Location.
Or when I arrive at a certain location.
Cancel button. Map.
So that brings me to the end of my presentation of Find My, and I hope this will help you in finding your friends and your devices and your pets and goodness knows what else.
All right, very cool, Sandhya. Great little demo of the Find My. I didn't realize there were some of those features that you went through there. Poor family, keep, every minute where they are. All right, very good, very good. Let's see, before we take questions, I just wanted to provide the opportunity, anybody that joined us after we did the initial introductions, if you'd like to, Sandhya's going to unmute here, everybody, and if you'd like to unmute yourself, say your name, where you're from, let us know that you joined us after the initial introductions. Anybody? Okay. Thought we had a few people come in after we did the initial introductions. All right, well, we got 20 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes here to ask any questions about either the voiceover activities, the child protective features, or Find My.
Sailor,
Go ahead, Sailor.
I have questions for all of them. One, the voiceover activities. But when he was changing the voice to Samantha, he was only making it apply to the apps he wanted, like mail and things like that, right?
This is Sree.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's correct. So there was one settings inside the activity where it was called the app. When I double tap the app, it's going to list all the apps that you have on your devices. And I specifically picked mail only, but I could have picked it for mail and maybe message and other apps, but I only picked mail. But I was able to use the rotor to apply it to other apps that was not selected.
Okay, I see. All right. So another thing, so now next to the child protective deal with the new update, that won't be on for like us. This only applies for like children who have Apple IDs, right?
Yeah, that's right. If well, the messaging part of it, if a person has one of those illegal photos and tries to upload it to their iCloud, then it'll get flagged, because they will be comparing all photos that go up to the from your device to the cloud. So, but it's not actually looking at the actual image. It's just doing that hash comparison, that mathematical formula of the two photos comparison.
Okay. And lastly, for the I Find My, what if there's a lost iPad? Could someone see the phone number and what are the notes they put in there, even if it's offline? Sandhya?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Wow.
And so in my demo, the iPad was pretended it to be lost, and then I found it, and then I saw the phone number on there. One thing that I forgot to mention is that there's also the capability, suppose you lose your phone and it's losing power and it's near the end. So then you would have to, it'll give you the location of where it was last. So it'll register it on the network. So even if the phone does end up losing power, at least you can see where it was last.
Oh, wow. And how does it do it even if there's no Wi-Fi connection or cellular connection?
Well, I mean, it's before, I guess it knows before it's, it's constantly pinging the network, I guess. And so it's wherever it is last, it'll register that. And I really need to emphasize for everybody, really, I mean, none of this, everything that I showed you, I mean, you have to enable the Find My on your iPhone and your various devices. And so another thing that I forgot to let y'all know is, so I did all those Find My's, I found my watch, I found my phone, I found my Mac and so forth. And I got email notifications as well. So that was another, like a backup, just to know that, hey, the sound was played on your Mac, a sound was played on your watch. So I got all these emails. So just letting you know, there's lots of backup.
Okay.
Susan?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, I have a question. Say you're at a doctor's office and you're on the, say, 10th floor, and you're just messing around with your iPad or iPhone, and then they call you in to the doctor's office in the back, and you're rushing to get your stuff together, and you may forget about one of your devices, and then you're in the back room, and I don't know, just say you end up going all the way back downstairs to wait on your MetroLift, and you're like, where's my iPhone? I gotta call MetroLift, or my iPad. Say it's, would it be able to find it all the way up there from where you are in the lobby? And also one more other thing, and then I'll be quiet. The stuff you're mentioning about Find My, isn't that also used, like I've heard when people are and have been abducted and thrown into the trunk of a car, that the police were able to track them from their phone? Is that from Find My also?
I think that most phones, I mean, they're constantly communicating with, it's like a triangulation, different cell towers. And so I think that for any smartphone, I think they're going to be doing that, but Find My would probably make it easier. And then to answer your question, the first question about how would you find your iPhone or iPad, it will generally tell you the location. It'll say 0 miles, like it was like when I was trying to find the devices, it would say 0 miles, your iPad is 0 miles or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you want very specific location information, then I would probably use the AirTag, and the AirTag has the precision finding, which we talked about, and I would definitely encourage people to go back and review our iBUG Cafe, and that gives you directions like turn here and 7 feet to the left. I mean, so it's very precise. So that is one of the advantages of the AirTags. AirTags would give you more detailed information.
Okay, one more last thing. What about if you lose? It's so easy to put your cane down, for an example, or your purse, or your wallet or whatever down, say again at the doctor's office or wherever you may be, and you leave or you start to walk out like, oh, I love such and such. Would one of those tags help you find what one of those things are?
Yes. So the tags can be for non-Apple objects. Just think of it that way. So any of your Apple devices can be logged onto your Apple ID, and then you can keep track of all of them. But for non-Apple products that don't have an Apple ID associated with them, then you can put a tag on your purse or put a tag on your dog or your cane or whatever it is, and then you will be able to see them.
And tag a person you want to keep track on, like
you can always use
little Michael and say, now I know where he is.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Who's next? Anybody else with a question?
This is Sree.
Sree.
So I have a question for both of you guys. For Michael, do you know if this applies to video also? I've just been hearing a lot about photos.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandhya, my question to you is, on the people, is it tracking their iPhone device, or what device is it actually tracking the people?
All right, I'll go first. I believe it's their iPhone because I logged in with their phone number. I mean, they're in my system and my contacts, so I'm assuming it's their iPhone.
So, would you also see that under the devices too? Then?
No, they don't show up under my devices. They show up under people.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael.
And your first question, everything I've heard so far is related just to the photos that are in the database. So, I mean, I know there's lots of videos out there too that are probably pretty illegal. So, but I'm not 100% on that, but that's my speculation right now anyway. All right, somebody else had a question?
Elisa, Kathy.
Okay, Elisa, then Kathy.
So when you were, I think it was, I don't know who was, to be honest, but when you looked at the voiceover, I think it was the activities, what did Apple tell you, Sree, about what were they going to fix or the bugs that you had?
This is Sree.
Yep, go ahead.
So the issue that I had was the punctuation, and basically I did a screen recording of the issue with them. And then before I actually did this video, I got a response back from the engineer to say that it is a problem that they will hopefully fix in a future release.
Okay, thank you, Sree.
And there was some other quirkiness, like sometimes I've noticed the voice may automatically just jump in without me changing the rotor. That was very sporadic, but so there's definitely some quirkiness here and there with it.
Okay, next we had Kathy.
A couple of comments. All the demos were really great and much needed. With the Find My, when I've lost my phone in the past, one of the problems that I had was because it's on voiceover, usually it's a Uber driver, a cab driver who finds it. And because it's on voiceover, they can't do anything. They don't know about the double tap, so they can't operate it at all, seems like. And so I'm thinking I only have one eye device. So if Paul had, we both switched, if we had each other's phone on our Find My, then that would work, wouldn't it? I could go on his phone when I lost mine and track it and put that message on it, that said, this is my phone number. I want to go home.
Yes, get a little silly there, but yes, absolutely. I would definitely encourage, like family members or, like my parents, my dad's always losing his phone. So I really want to make sure that I can help him find it. So yes, you can do that.
And when we're meeting friends and we call them when we're getting close, would we need their permission? Or they let them know when we get there?
Yeah, great question. So it's reciprocal. I mean, so I gave Sree permission. Like I'm saying, hey, I'm sharing my information with you for this evening or this hour or whatever. And then if he wants me to know his information, he has to do the whole thing on his side. Just by me giving my information, I do not automatically get his information. He has to authorize that.
But that's still cool if you're the one on the way and they're waiting for you.
Yes, and
you just let them know.
Absolutely. And we all have, parents and people who are worried about us, and they're like, where are you? Where are you? And this way, this is great. You don't have to talk to them. You can just like, look, where I am, so. And yeah, great. One other thing I forgot to mention, many of y'all have AirPods, and the AirPods, I meant to mention this, is when you ping the AirPods, if they're in the case, it will not respond. And I think Mr. McCulloch had an issue with his AirPods being lost or something, but I found that because I pinged it, and if they're in the case, it doesn't work.
Actually, I had this happen once. This is Sailor. Before I got my AirPods Pro, I had regular AirPods, and my AirPods went missing for 2 weeks. Last I had them was at my church where I go to my group on Thursday nights, and I thought they were there. And for 2 weeks, they went missing, and I tried to ping them, and they wouldn't go off because it says the last location was at my church, was I guess when I opened them, when I took them out of the case. And so I thought they were just gone. But 3 weeks later, someone was helping me in my room fix my bed, and they were found under my bed. They were there all that time.
Oh, good story. Yes. So they will work. You will hear the chirping sound, and you will get a warning because they want to make sure that you're not trying to find it while it's in somebody's ear, but it shouldn't be in anybody else's ear because they're your AirPods, right? So it will get progressively louder. The little AirPods, but they have to be outside, or at least the little box, the case has to be open, or it will not work. All right,
Kathy.
Also, Find My is useless, because most of the time they're in the case when you don't have them in your ear,
Yeah, it's a quirk. All right, thank you, Sailor. Go ahead, Miss Kathy.
So with mostly my case is plugged in because since I don't go anywhere anymore, and when I lose my AirPods, usually it's one, and usually rolls away somewhere in the vicinity. And so I have to put the other one in the case so I don't hear it, because it's hard to, it's such a kind of little bingy noise. It's hard to tell, if you've got both of them going, it's hard to get the location of it. So I put one in the case and then concentrate on finding the other. And it works, but they always make a big deal. You don't want to have it in your ear because it might get loud. But to me, it doesn't seem like it gets that loud. Like your beeping on your iPad and other devices seem like it got a lot louder than the little AirPods get.
Right. And those were significantly different. Yeah. I agree with you.
And they do have a different beep for each one, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Seem like the beep patterns are strangely different.
Yes.
+1.
Great observations, Kathy. Anybody else? Any other questions about Find My?
This is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. For Michael, the name of that podcast is that iMore, IMORE.
That's correct. Yeah. It's a weekly podcast that talks about all different things Apple. The particular one I was playing, I think, was the second week of, I'd have to go back and look for sure, the second week of August when it came out. The Apple's announcement about this came out like on the 5th of August, and then all the controversy came up, and then they did this podcast. But I've heard several different podcasts about it. So, but yeah, iMore, IMORE is the name of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to add that. And then for Sandhya, regarding Find My, if I tell person X, okay, you can track my location, and I give them permission and so forth, will they automatically get a notification as I'm going someplace of where I'm at, or once I get to the destination or something like that?
So it's two parts. So like, yes, so there are two parts of it. So yes, you could give them indefinitely permission. Suppose you give somebody permission indefinitely. So they'll always know where you are. If they choose to say, where are you? And where is Dan? If they say, where's Dan? Then Siri will say, oh, Dan's here, or Dan's at the Lego Museum, or wherever, But if you want if that person wants to know when is Dan leaving the house, or when is Dan going to the gym, or whatever, then they would use that second part under the notifications and then set it up. So that would be on them to figure out, what notifications they wanted about you and your location.
Okay, so once you set it up, the person X has to ask Siri, where is Dan, or something like that. It's not going to automatically pop up in the notifications.
No, but if they do, but see, if they could set it up so that they say, I want to know every time Dan leaves the house. That was a second part of my demo. And so then if they enable that, then every time you leave the house, person X will get a notification that you left the house.
Automatically.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, we got time for one more question. I see Wilhelmina unmuted.
Okay, so I think that the voiceover has a lot of various features that I don't think we all use. I know I don't. And I was wondering if at some point someone could do a demonstration of the different levels of voiceover.
Okay, well, we don't actually go through and do everything voiceover can do, but there are, you can just ask, well, Siri won't ask that, but yeah, we do different, different segments, what we think are important to use, but
That's a great question. I mean, usually we're talking about voiceover in the context of other applications. And so I think we could, there's a lot of information about voiceover and voiceover gestures and voiceover activities in the under the voiceover, under settings and accessibility and voiceover. But that's a great question. But usually we are talking about the voiceover gestures in the context of other applications.
Yeah, and that's why I was, saying it, just going through it. There's so many different components to voiceover, and everybody doesn't need all of them, but there are some that we don't know it, it's actually there. And so I guess, I don't know, maybe someone could go through them all and figure, like, why do I need, audio descript turned on, or why do I need keyboard shortcut? Those kinds of things. Why do I need?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think we could try to compile something, the top 10 or top 15 or something like that, maybe. But great idea, Wilhelmina. Thank you.
Thanks, Wilhelmina. Great question and comment. Okay, so we are at the end of our time. I want to thank Sree and Sandhya for their demos, and awesome job, both of you guys. And a little bitty podcast that Michael played, good for him too.
Good job. That was hard. That was hard playing that podcast.
All of you that came and joined us today, we're glad that you could be with us and hope you come back again. We will be on Monday night for iBUG Buzz is our next thing coming up. 7:30 p.m. right here on this same Zoom conference. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Everybody have a great rest of the weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming. Have a safe weekend. Bye.
Have a great rest of the weekend.